Sego, welcome. This presentation is to help you better understand the community decision-making process and is brought to you by the Kahnawà Legislative Coordinating Commission. In this presentation, we will look at a background to the development of the process, including a look at what is an Indigenous conception of justice, a look at the Kahnawà Legislative Coordinating Commission and its functions, how to submit a proposal to make a law or amend a current law, how laws are categorized, what is a Type 1 process, what is a Type 2 process, hearing and reading formats, the enactment of a law, and the role of a community member in the process. Justice refers to an aspect of the natural order in which everyone and everything stands in relation to each other. Justice for First Nations has traditionally been a daily shared experience of citizens of the community, part of the general teachings, values, and traditions that sustain the people as a people. It has been part of the sense of responsibility felt by every community member of the other and for the creatures and forces that sustain all human life, and it evolves as the First Nation grows and adapts to changing circumstances so that the harmony and balance are maintained. The Indigenous conception of justice is very different from the Euro-Canadian one. The Indigenous conception focuses on aspects of balance and harmony, while the other focuses on maintaining social order. In our view, justice is about restoring harmony through restitution. It is collaborative and informal, whereas in the other view, it is about proving right from wrong, blame, punishment. In this way, it is adversarial and competitive. Our laws are handed down and taught within the families. You learn how to be a certain way as you grow up. In the other way, laws are applied top-down in a large legal system. In our way, justice decision-making is done through consensus, whereas in the other view, justice is authoritative and majority rules. The community decision-making process has undergone a lot of planning and development. As we look back in its evolution, one can say that it began with the 1979 mandate to go back to traditional government. This was reaffirmed in 2000. In 1995, the Council mandated the Kahnawà Justice Commission to develop laws for the community. Because of criticism on the close ties between lawmaking and enforcement of those same laws, the Council then mandated the Office of the Council of Chiefs to develop a decision-making model that would address the desire for community participation. Through extensive community and stakeholder consultation, mock sessions, development meetings, the community decision-making process was developed. The community decision-making process is a form of participatory democracy. It addresses the community's desire for more participation in lawmaking. Consensus-based decision-making is by no means a method used only by Haudenosaunee. Rather, it has been and is used worldwide by other peoples. Notably, the Inuit Parliament uses a form of consensus-based decision-making in their legislature. It is a grassroots process, meaning it is still evolving, and how it develops is up to the community. It is a step in the right direction towards fulfilling the mandate of 1979. The Kahnawà Legislative Coordinating Commission is the body which oversees the process. The Commission is comprised of an OCC representative, a legal services representative, a communications representative, a justice representative, a community representative, and the coordinator. The Commission meets on a bi-weekly basis to discuss and resolve issues that arise with laws that are currently in process. Any community member 18 years of age or over may make a submission. The KLCC will address each submission. A letter of acknowledgement is sent back, and the request is submitted then to legal services for categorization. Then a technician or working group is assigned to the law. The submission is then presented to Chief and Council. The legislative tracker is prepared, which documents each step of the CDMP. Laws are categorized by legal services into a Type 1 or Type 2 process. In a Type 1 process, the community provides the mandate, scope, purpose, and intent. This categorization applies to laws of general application that affect the entire community. In a Type 2 process, Chief and Council provide the mandate, scope, purpose, and intent. These laws are regulatory in nature and affect a specific sector, interest group, or portion of the community. After the law is categorized, Chief and Council affirm that categorization. In this process, the technician acts as a guide for the law as it goes through the process. They work closely with the proponent to carry out the goal and intent of their submission. They compile the background research, and using kiosks, questionnaires, focus groups, and other methods, they communicate that information to the community. This information is used to inform community members when they participate in the process during hearings and readings. Proponents who make a submission to the process are encouraged to participate throughout the whole process. Type 1 process, Phase 1. Submission and background are presented to the community for community feedback using print and radio media formats on the website and made available at the reception at the main building. Community consultation takes place using kiosks, questionnaires, radio talk shows, door-to-door, etc. Stakeholder consultation also takes place. The first community hearing to receive the mandate is held. If the answer is yes from the community members present, the process moves forward. If the answer is no, the process stops. When the community answers yes to a law or making amendments to a law, the scope, purpose, and intent are determined. Then community representatives on the technical team are chosen from their groups. The mandate, scope, purpose, and intent are presented to Council and ratified in a legislative session. The technical team begins the process of drafting the law. They present it to the community in 3 readings as seen in Phase 2. After each draft is posted to the community on the website and available at the reception for 30 days. After this time, it is brought to the community where further input is given. It is incorporated and then brought to a legislative session. The process is then repeated another 2 times as seen in Phase 2. After the 3rd reading, the law should ideally be in its final draft form. This format is essentially the same for Type 2 process laws. The community hearing and reading format is different, as will be illustrated. Phase 2 readings take the following format. This process is reminiscent of the way our ancestors made decisions. The value of consensus-based decision-making as a way to bring community together has been well documented. It serves as the basis for the community decision-making process. In this way, the first group states their position and decision on the matter. The second group deliberates on the first group's statement. The second group speaker will agree, disagree, or add suggestions to the initial statement. This back-and-forth discussion will occur until the 2 groups come to a consensus on the issue. Once the first 2 groups reach consensus, they pass the issue on to the 3rd group, who then has their group speaker state their position. They may agree, disagree, and/or provide suggestions, comments, to add to the discussion. If the 3rd group agrees, consensus is reached. However, should any variation in the consensus of the first 2 groups be tabled, the process begins again with the first group until consensus is reached. The Type 2 process also has 3 phases. The difference with this is that the mandate, scope, purpose, and intent comes from Chief and Council. It is mainly used when revisions are required to a current law. The community hearings are in a different format. Both Type 1 and Type 2 processes do involve community consultations. There are multiple opportunities for Kahnawake to participate and have their voices heard. The meeting format used in the Type 2 process is different. In this way, the law is read and community provides direct feedback without using the 3-group system. The enactment of a law is a formal process of recognizing the passing of a law through the community decision-making process. In the Type 1 process, this takes place with the signing of a document called Confirmation of the Will of the People at the 3rd community hearing in Phase 2 or at the 3rd legislative session after the 3rd community hearing. Briefly stated, this document confirms that the will of the people has been followed in the drafting and revisions of a law as it went through the community decision-making process. All 12 chiefs sign this document recognizing the will of the people in making or revising the law. In the Type 2 process, the enactment takes place with the formal reading of the final draft of the law at the 3rd community reading. This document, called Certification of Process, is signed at the final legislative session. This document recognizes that the community decision-making process has been followed and that the law or changes to the law reflect the scope, purpose, and intent contained in the original mandate received from the Mohawk Council of Kahnawake. This document is signed by the technical team members, which include community representatives, and by members of the Chiefs Advisory and the Kahnawake Legislative Coordinating Commission. The role of any community member is important. A community member, 18 years of age and over, can make a submission. However, any community member may also participate in providing feedback on laws and in community readings and hearings. We encourage community members to participate as facilitators with us during community hearings. 3 community members also participate on technical teams during the drafting of a law in order to ensure that the law or amendments remain within the scope, purpose, and intent. If you are uncomfortable participating at a community hearing or reading, you can also come and observe to get a sense of what it is about. For more information, please consult the following sources: